They're like, doesn't this suck? And I'm like, it's fine. Like, and if it sucks, I won't see it. Are we recording right now? Oh man, we don't have a plan at all. Hi everybody, I'm Joe Winchell. Welcome to Millennial Stoner. My guest today is just real quick is Mr. Jack Adam. Say hi, Jack.
Hi.
Real quick, guys, if you want to support the page, you can do that two different ways. I say this at the beginning of every episode. You can go to rockout.shop and you can buy a hoodie. You can buy a hat, shirt, all Chris's designs, really cool stuff. Rockout.shop. Go buy some merch. But if you're broke or you haven't got that, tax return in yet or whatever, you can go just and subscribe to the YouTube page. You can subscribe to the Facebook page and comment. We're getting great with comments again, guys. I can't thank you enough. The comments on the reels have been fantastic. Keep them coming. Comment on the episode, all that stuff. Helps with our algorithm. We like it. Jack, I like to start my episodes off with a bit of a little thing. It's like a health thing that I'm trying to do. I got this thing called Magic Mind. You want one?
I do want one. I've been wanting to try this.
You want to try this? Yeah. You've seen it on
very
Facebook
long
and
time.
shit?
Yeah, clips.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how we found out about it, too. It's really cool, man. It's basically it's like a natural... This is a weird way to put it. It's like a natural Adderall. And just as a kid with ADHD, this is something especially because at night my mind races, and not only will this help you during the day, it if you take it at night, about an hour, 2 hours before you go to bed, you'll get better sleep. It'll help you calm your brain down and shit. It's really cool, man. And I'm very mental health conscious on this show. I try to be, so try to take care of yourself and invest in yourself. Mentally, so you can do other things with your life and not be sad all the time.
That's good.
So yeah, I personally take it. I do it just about every day, and love it. So I'm gonna start the podcast off with a little shot. Yeah, we're gonna do a little shot of it.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Oh wait, this has THC in it. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't. It does not. It does not. It does not. Magic Mind. Chris, should we do the little thing we're running with it?
Yes.
Or do you want to wait? Yeah. So we've also we're doing a little thing with Magic Mind too because I'm a big fan. I love it. It's a little subscript, a little code, a promo code that we have. It's TMS21. TMS20. Sorry, it's TMS20. You can put that in on magicmind.com and you'll get 40% off a one-time purchase, Chris.
48% off.
48% off, and then
48% off for the.
That's what I meant. 48% off the subscription. Yeah.
Yep.
48% off a subscription service, or you can get the bundles. 45% off.
Sorry.
It's okay.
One-time purchase is 20%.
That's right. So the one-time purchase, 20% off with TMS20, and if you want to get a subscription, we'll give you 48% off. It's kind of like this cool little thing because we're such big fans of Magic Mind over here. Okay, so yeah, guys, check out magicmind.com. Like I said, 20% off a one-time purchase, 48% off subscription if you use code TMS20. All right. All right. I guess now I'll talk to you for a while.
I am. Does this do you feel like this wear off at all?
Yeah, not it doesn't have a come down.
Right. Yeah.
Does it? It's just you just kind of it's like a slow thing, but it's like a natural. I hesitate to say supplement because I don't know if I'm using that word correctly.
Well, I mean,
vitamins and everything, but it's all natural and from the earth and stuff like that. It's got a lot of vitamin B2, B3, B12, C and D.
I think I've heard Pete Holmes mention this.
Yes, Pete Holmes also has mentioned on his podcast.
I think
before.
I'm a big fan of Pete Holmes.
Oh, I love Pete Holmes,
and anything like that he recommends. I
check it out.
I check it out. Yeah.
Is that your favorite comedian, Pete Holmes?
I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but I do. He was the first podcast I listened to religiously.
Oh yeah.
I remember getting my first iPhone in 10th grade, and I think that was the first podcast I found, just in general. Maybe actually, you know what? Kevin Pollak had a podcast.
He did. He had a great podcast.
The Chat Show.
Kevin Pollak did a stand-up for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody always forgets that. I love Kevin Pollak's podcast. That was the first round of stuff you listened to?
That was those were definitely the first two I listened to. And Pete Holmes, I don't know how long he was doing it when he started, but thinking back to those early episodes now, I feel like I can probably relate to it more than I did back then.
How old were you when you first found it?
I was, let's see, I was in 10th grade.
Okay, so that was like 15, 14?
So I was like, 16? 15. And I what was I going to say? I wanted to do stand-up so bad.
You wanted to do it from like a young age?
Yeah, from like even young, even in middle school, I wanted to do it.
That's awesome.
And just listening to his podcast was like, it didn't really feel like I was doing it, but I felt like I was more in the world.
Like living vicariously through him a little bit? Yeah,
exactly,
it was like the window. That's what podcasts are. It's a window into like the conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that particularly works well for comedians. Because there's, you do shows, you meet everybody that's like, oh, I always wanted to try. Everybody says that. So it's like, and you can do that like window of what is it like? Yeah, I get that you were kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm there.
Right, yeah.
That's really cool, dude. My first podcast I listened to was, I don't want to say I was on the ground floor, but I do remember when podcasts were like new, like I do. And it was basically just Mark Maron and Kevin Smith doing podcasts. It was a Smodcast, and I don't even think it was called WTF yet. I think it was just
really?
I think it was just the Mark Maron show.
Yeah.
And it was basically like, because I always felt like podcasting came from the idea of the message boards, essentially. Like the message boards were putting you in contact with people that you like admired, whether filmmakers, comedians, actors, and everything. And then specifically comedians, actually. But like when the podcast started doing that, was a way of almost like, well, I want to know what it's like to be in the room with these guys. That's sort of like what that kind of started. And I remember it was basically just Kevin Smith and doing the Smodcast, and which I loved. I still listen to all the episodes of Smodcast. And then Mark Maron was just like shouting into a microphone like over in LA. Like
I definitely listened to him and Pete at the same time.
I've always listened to Mark Maron stuff. He's a fantastic interviewer. Yeah. He truly is. And that was kind of like, this is actually kind of a throwback to what we used to do. I got the boys on full time, Donnie and Will. They can't be here today just because Hamburger Club stuff. And it's Easter, and schedulings can be tough sometimes. But this is what I basically used to do. I used to just bring in comedians, and it was like, when did you start? I'd ask all the basic questions, like when you start doing comedy. Which I'll ask all that too. But I already asked. You kind of already gave them the window. You started with like just always wanted to do it. What was the first special you ever watched? Oh,
I remember Sunday mornings. Comedy Central would have their half hours.
Comedy Central presents.
They would, and I watched those before and after church as a kid, and I felt so dirty for watching.
You were a church kid?
I was a church kid. Yeah, my parents would take me to church and Sunday school and everything.
You'd go and watch Dom Irera and shit like that.
But I remember seeing like Birbiglia on there and Nick Kroll. I remember Mulaney's.
Louis C.K. was on there before he was Louis C.K. He was just
They were. I think they were showing ones a little bit more current than that, because I remember seeing like clips of like when they first started doing those half hours on Comedy Central or any of those, and like I was like, ooh, like that was like definitely an era I missed. But I remember Jay Larson's half hour special blew my mind, of like the most relatable comedy of all time. Just like, because he talked about unfinished basements, and I technically had a finished basement, but like nobody was ever down there, so it felt like an unfinished basement, but the laundry room was totally unfinished. And he just had this bit about putting clothes into like the washer and dryer, and you're like, I know there's somebody behind me right now. That's fine. That's all cool. All right, we're good. There's totally somebody back there that's gonna kill me. I'm just gonna walk, and then right when you hit the stairs, you just go boom up the stairs, and like he's like, he can't get me, and that's just that.
Did it blow your mind that that comedy could be that?
It blew not know? Yeah. It blew my mind that you could like reach into somebody's soul like that, and like just bring into frame something that's so in somebody's life that they didn't realize like consciously that it was a part of their life, I guess, if I'm getting like nerdy about it.
No, I mean, that's how, that's how we are on this shit and everything.
Yeah. But just uber relatable comedy was, blew my mind.
I mean, that's good. I mean, Jay Larson particularly, he's a great comedian, just from the standpoint of like, he took something as mundane as doing the laundry and he figured out how to make that really funny.
In that same special, he has a joke about hot dogs and macaroni.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just finding the funny in the everyday stuff, because we were talking before about audiences and kind of leaning into what they like. But if something you know that everybody's done this, or everybody's driven a car or some shit like that. So if you do it the right way, or everybody's had a hot dog or macaroni, most people, you can make jokes about that if you're that good of a writer. Definitely is.
Yeah.
So you saw that and you're like, I know no comedy could be that. I don't want to say simple, but like I didn't know it could be that.
Yeah. I didn't know it can like it felt like magic to me.
Yeah.
In a way. And I just it wasn't like I became like a huge like Jay Larson fan, because like there wasn't much he put out, but like that one just always stuck with me, and there's all those half hours, and then I just remember seeing like I got into like really big impressions, like I got really big into
some
impressions.
voices. I always forget that you do, because like I won't see you for like a month or so, and then I'll see you and you'll just throw a voice out in your act. I'm like, oh yeah, he does fucking impressions.
Yeah.
Like kind of, yeah. You have a pretty good trump.
Thank you.
Jack was on the Hamburger Club recently and went on a great tear, and there was actually an impression category, and I really thought you were going to pull out Kevin Spacey out of your ass.
Yeah, no.
I was like, can you fucking do Kevin Spacey?
Because I definitely have like that, like he's in my range. I know he's in my range.
You have the low kind of pissy gay man voice that you would have.
Exactly. If I focus on it, I can get it. I'm sure.
I've tried to do. I dabbled in voices early on, because I was like, I can kind of do Macho Man. That's basically And I used to do a fucking stupid Mark Wahlberg impression, which is really just an impression of Andy Samberg doing Mark Wahlberg. I think everybody just does. But that's what it is, and it's like I used to try to do a bit where it was like, do you think Mark Wahlberg gets really excited when there's national tragedies because he knows he's gonna make a movie in the next year about it? Like, it's just like, oh my God, 9/11 happened. It's terrible, but great for me. Like, that's stupid. That's a stupid voice, not a good impression. But
that is true though, like about his movies.
Dude, he is. That's how I came about it. I was scrolling through like Netflix or Amazon Prime. And I realized that the last like 5 Mark Wahlberg movies, it's just him being like the guy who saves the day in a completely desperate situation.
Yeah. And most people die except him.
He's the only person that never dies. Yeah. Lone survivor. He's the lone survivor. He stopped he caught the Boston bombing guy, and he was the cop that caught him in that.
Yeah.
Like if he
didn't he do the 9/11 movie too?
I mean, did you ever hear his interview on that where he was like, if I was on that plane?
Yeah. And then some director was like, we got our guy.
Exactly. But he does. It's like an interview. Like he's like, no, because this is how it would go down if it was me in the position. And I'm like, but he always goes, no, it's about honoring the person that did that. I'm like, by you playing like
that's such like a middle school thing. Like there's always that one kid that's like or even like not even kids, but like you'll be talking to somebody and then they were like, dude, if he fucking said one more word to me, if he would have been down. Yeah. Down on the ground. Yeah. If he's lucky. Yeah. He got away from me.
God. I had friends that said that to me and I'm like, really? Really, Brent? Your mom dropped you off in a Mercedes today. Like that's you're gonna because you all of a sudden you drank some fucking Mike's Hard Lemonade and you put a T-shirt around your head like a do-rag. You're a bad motherfucker. Like shut up, kid. You're not gonna do anything. Anytime I saw fights in high school, it was never like a fight. Like I was watching a movie recently.
I saw some pretty sick fights in high school.
It was I went to school in the Hamptons. Everybody was fucking suburban. Like there was nobody. It was anytime you see like a high school movie with fights, there's like throwing punches and everything. These dudes would just roll around on the ground. They would just roll around on the ground, and then it would get immediately broken up. It was never like you saw sick fight. Oh, one kid got clocked one time. I remember that like, and it was not it wasn't like necessarily a good punch. It was just like the haymaker like side fist swing. Yeah. I did see one kid get rocked. Yeah, Joe Bell. Look, he's always Flight Risk is the movie he just did with fucking Mel Gibson directed that. Yeah, he's always the dude. Mark Wahlberg.
That's so weird. They probably met on Daddy's Home too. Mel Gibson and Mark Wahlberg.
They absolutely did.
And they were like, we want to do we got to do a more serious movie.
It's really funny to me that they would meet on Daddy's Home too.
Yeah.
The John Lithgow fucking Will Ferrell comedy vehicle.
John Lithgow, I want to get in on this movie, and they're like, "Wait, no, John Lithgow.
No, we gotta get. Can we get John Lithgow to be in it? No, we're gonna get Mark. Yeah, Lone Survivor. The
Shooter.
Fighter. He's always like, whenever there's like some horrible, he's always like the dude that comes. Invincible. He was the fucking.
I loved Invincible.
Oh, that was the last like movie where I felt like Mark Wahlberg, like I liked him throughout it.
Yeah,
Where he's not just squinting and saying
he was
stuff low.
well, he's like a full underdog in that movie.
Yeah, fears of that. See, this is back when he was. Yeah, Boogie Nights is one of the greatest films ever made. I don't want to go through. I'm just going to sit here and talk about how awesome fucking. But Boogie Nights is one of the greatest movies ever made, and Mark Wahlberg is fucking fantastic in it.
For sure.
If you could do an impression of Mark Wahlberg in any movie, it's in Boogie Nights, especially when he's just like, "I'm ready to shoot right now, Jack." But sorry, I didn't mean to. You brought this up, and now I'm all distracted because. God, all right, what were you saying?
I don't remember.
God damn it.
Magic Mind hasn't kicked in yet.
No, it's kind of, I think it's kicking in too much for me. My brain's all over the place right now. But you were talking about comedy before, and we were talking about crowds and everything. So when did you actually like start? When was your first official mic? When did you start doing comedy?
I was senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Just the cafe had an open mic. A friend,
In high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
A friend was doing it. It was her birthday. And I knew all my friends were going to be there. And it was just like...
So you knew you had the crowd?
Yeah, I knew I had the crowd. And like all my friends knew that I'd like been wanting to do it. And I took an acting class in high school. And I was kind of funny in that.
Okay.
So
I can tell you have a lot of energy.
Yeah. I definitely was like more of like...
No, you're very dry. I like that.
Like, yeah, well, I was like so experimental, like when I first started of just like, I know.
Were you like, I'm just going to, like, I want to figure out what works for me, so I'm going to try like all this different kind of...
Well, it was like, I got so influenced by like alty type stuff.
Alt comedy?
Yeah.
Okay. Like the Galifianuses.
Yeah. Stuff like that, and just like not real. Like I had like written real jokes and like wanted to be like a Bill Hicks kind of guy. That was like my huge first.
That's a guy that comes up a lot, especially like because he was like even in the early days of the internet, his name was synonymous with comedy. Everybody would talk about, if you watched any kind of interview with a comedian, Bill Hicks' name would come up.
Yeah.
Well,
so he was like the first guy to like almost like intellectualize comedy in a way.
He was like. He almost would do this almost Kaufman-esque shit because like the way that he kind of became famous in a lot of ways, besides the fact that he was a brilliant writer and a very funny comedian, he would go on tour, but he would go on tour to like the Deep South and just bomb in front of these people, just and fucking but do his act, and he would fucking go like to Alabama, go from like Huntsville, Alabama to like Deep South, and there's tapes of it. I've watched them, and I'm like him just bombing, but like it was like he got so hardened that like the crowd never affected him.
No. And
but he was also like deep philosophical type comedy too.
Yeah. He was very like almost like existential.
Dude, yeah. Like I always try to stay away from that because I think some people try to do that and they just sound like cunts.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they just sound like you just.
But
like,
he did it from like a place of like angst.
Yeah, there was like an honesty with him. Like you knew this isn't somebody just being like, I'm really smart. So
right, yeah.
Do you ever think about tariffs this way?
Exactly. He was like he didn't try to be smart. Really, he was more mad that other people weren't smart.
Yeah, he hated dumb people.
He hated dumb people. Yeah. Like, the whole reading thing. Like, what you reading for? Yeah. Not what am I reading, but what am I reading for?
What am I reading? What am I reading for?
But just that, like, and there was, I know Louis, I think, said he was influenced by him, but
definitely.
I went
you can see the
from
influence.
Bill Hicks to Louis, and Louis is like my all-time favorite guy.
It's probably one of the fucking funniest. Like, I'm sure didn't he drop in something new or like, he did 2 in 1 year recently.
Yeah.
I got to. I know I'm behind. I'm like.
And I saw his new hour when he was at Governor's. I saw it.
You saw that?
And yeah. So he's got a new hour now, which is like still really. It's
That's
really
like
good.
one of those things you hear about. Is even you're like, God, you're throwing everything away.
Yeah.
And just started from scratch. Like, fuck.
Well, that's almost like for me. It's like I know I'm already kind of getting tired of like my best.
I hate
jokes,
all my stuff. Yeah.
And I like. Releasing like a half hour of great stuff would be because I'll still have it because nobody's gonna fucking see it if I do it.
Yeah.
But like just to be like I have this half hour, let me put that to the side, and like if I get a half hour gig, obviously I'll still use that stuff. But I'm not like
especially if you're in the middle of developing new shit.
Yeah. And it's not like I have like an audience that cares about what I do. I can release it; it can get 1 million views. And it obviously won't, but like even if it got 1 million views, it's like I can go to any show. Nobody's like the shows that I'm getting booked on. People aren't going to know that material.
No.
You know, so
that's why it's not a risk. That's why I always tell people,
Yeah.
I'm like, you might as well try to get the fucking because it is mostly about following on social media nowadays. So you might as well put the clip up and get the fucking subscribers or the fucking, you know, like get the followers, because that's what's going to get you into the club and go from there. And then even if like most of the time, even if you have even if like you became a sensation overnight, like they're not going to find that half hour right away.
no.
They're just going to look for your clips. They're not going to there's going to be a few that'll dig deep, but for the most part, you'll be able to do a lot of those jokes still for a while, even if you got like a big fat contract the next day.
Yeah. It's so funny to me when people are like even at my level that are like, oh, I don't want to burn that joke yet.
Fucking shut up. Like, yeah.
You're not burning it.
You're not burning, like, you're really not. Like, it's especially because it's like if you put a portion of it up there too, I just tell people like, well, it's a 5-minute bit. And I'm like, yeah, so put a portion of it up there, and then when the people come, you're like, oh, there's more to this joke.
Yeah.
If you're really worried about that, I'm saying, like, don't worry about burning your bits or whatever the fuck. I think that's why so many people put up crowd work though.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, I love doing crowd work, but I hate seeing crowd work on the internet.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I think I like crowd work.
Yeah.
I don't really do it, but when it's done really well, I like it.
You had a great little piece of crowd work at. You ended your set with it at Sticks and Stones. You remember this?
That's right. When
Some
the lady asked the question.
Jack had Jack had a set at Sticks and Stones, and you always do pretty well up there, actually. And some lady just, I have a question, and you just go, yeah, fuck it, sure, I'll take a question.
Yeah.
Like, and she has this. I was like, I kind of knew what you were doing because I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, he's got like 45 seconds left. I see it. I think I know what he's doing right now. And then she goes on for like this 30 seconds of, do you feel like, I can't remember what it was, but she
was asking me, she was like, do you change your material for like what audience you're doing a set for? But it took her 45 seconds to ask
a question that could have been asked in 10 seconds.
Yeah. And then I just let her go and go. And then I knew my time was up, and I was like,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
She just leaves, and he got a huge laugh on it too.
Yeah.
It worked.
So and then they left, right? I think they left right after that.
They did leave right after that.
And her son, I think somebody said her son was like, "Mom, why would you? Don't say anything." You know,
yeah, I think it's because he got embarrassed. Yeah, he got very
yeah.
embarrassed, dude. There was. Were you there for the birthday ladies?
I think so.
Oof.
What, like the 70th?
Yeah, you went up like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, 70th birthday, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. And I've never seen you really mad, but I saw it just a little bit on your face that night. I'm like, I don't like you.
No. Especially when I'm not like, I could be doing,
because it was other than them, it was a big packed room, and it was a good crowd, and they were getting, it was doing that thing where the crowd was on our side. So anytime we made fun of the ladies, we always got praise. Yeah,
for sure. But it's one of those things where it's like, I was doing fine, like I was doing well.
Yeah.
But when I'm not killing like that, I'm mad because I can't figure out why. So anything that happens that like prevents me from getting to that level of killing, I get really mad.
Because you had the hat on, you've always had the glasses. I'm like, this dude looks like Randy Johnson on the mound when he would play for the Diamondbacks right now. He just looks pissed. Like,
yeah. I need to stop doing that.
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes.
That's the only time I get mad and like show it in life.
Yeah, because you're a very chill dude. You're like one of the most
chill.
laid back dudes I've known in the scene. And this is like, there's a lot of high strung individuals we know and hang out with, but you're not one of them. Like I think that's one of the reasons people like having you around. I'm being honest. Like, I'm not just jerking you off, unless you want to.
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like I'm so chill and like in the corner that it's like
people are like, Jack hates us. Like,
yeah, well, I get that all the time.
Jack hates us. No.
I get that all the time, and I feel so bad about it. But I get that, or it's like I'm so chill and laid back that like people like assume that I don't want to be there.
He looks miserable.
I'm kind of just enjoying like observing everybody. And then
I have said to people before, is Jack upset? I'm like, nah, it's just Jack. Like I think I've said that before to people where I'm like, he just stands in the corner and kind of stares. I don't know. Like, go talk to him. He'll say hi to you.
Yeah. I'll talk to anybody.
That's true. Like, it's so funny that you have, like, God damn, he's so laid back. But there's that group of people that's like, he's so relaxed. He must hate us all that he's here right now.
Yeah. And people assume that, and then so like I have to remind myself to like really I either try to be a part of the conversation or really like think of like, okay, what's my value in this group?
Oh man, I hate going down that road. I do that
Yeah.
too. Where it's like, all right, what do I? Maybe I. But I go through it like an Oregon Trail thing, where I'm like, all right, I can hunt. Like, I can hunt. I have a worth if there was an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe next time we meet up, I'll bring some steaks for everybody.
Some steaks.
I'll cook up some steaks.
Just start grilling at the show.
But I have to like.
Jack's great. He's laid back and he cooks for us when he's here.
Yeah. I have to.
That's my worth to this group.
I have to remind myself to chime in and like really look for that, like stick in that one liner.
Oh, I do that.
Or that joke. I think I walked people. I think I walked some people at a dinner.
Oh, the dinner shows?
No. It was like in like just a group.
Oh, you were
of
just
guys.
hanging out with people?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about this.
It wasn't like they were on their way out anyway.
Okay.
But I joined a softball team with Brendan and Brendan Ryan, John Sell. Rob Hall, Pat Dunn.
I've heard tell. Yeah, Pat was talking about this.
So John Sell started the team. He's our coach. He's our manager.
Oh God.
And most of the team is like friends he knew from either school or from wherever he grew up. I don't know.
John as a manager is so funny to me.
Yeah. And then we have like our group of comics. So it's like it's kind of split. Yeah. And like, but we're friendly with everybody.
Oh yeah,
like
of course.
everybody's really cool on the team. And then there's this one kid who's like funnier than all the comics. He's just a loudmouth kid. Yeah. And he it kind of surprised me, like how you think of like these like just these like young white guys, like but you have to remember, like, you're on Long Island, like they're pretty Christian.
Yeah.
They're like,
that's a really good point, actually.
They take drugs and drink and curse and will fuck anything. Yeah. But they're
gotta
like,
make it to Sunday mass.
Yeah, but they're like, what did I give up for Lent this year? They're like giving stuff up for Lent. And then so this one kid who's a really funny guy, but he was being so earnest. And we went out for drinks and food after our last game.
Okay.
And a few of them brought like their girlfriends.
Okay.
Who hadn't been around before. And I'm at the complete opposite end of the table with like Pat.
Yeah, on the comic side.
And we're kind of mostly just having our own conversation while they're having like a bigger conversation on the other end. But this one kid in the middle was saying, like, he was like, he goes, yeah, so I was listening to this Bible podcast because it's like fucking Lent or whatever. And people like laugh at that because he said fucking Lent and he's a Christian, whatever. And then so I just like tagged it. I was like, yeah, so I was listening to this goddamn Christian podcast, And then there was like a full second of silence where I got scared that I bombed so huge
at the fucking after party.
Yeah, and then eventually, like, it took one beat to people to understand like what the joke was, because like I don't know if they just weren't used to the rhythm of it, but they laughed, like people laughed, and then the kid said something else, and then two girls got up and like, okay, we're leaving. And in my head, I was like, I think
that's
I walked
because
them.
of me.
I think I walked these Christian ladies.
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, it's always funny when you bomb at like a dinner party thing, because you're like, I think there is this stigma that we have, like, not that we're egotistical, but we can't help it sometimes. We're especially like adding a tag to something or that, and if you can. We're whores. Like, if we can get a laugh at the table, like, it'll make us feel good. And there's definitely been some instances where I've said stuff and been like, nah, that didn't fucking.
Yeah,
can I have a salad, please?
Yeah,
like, like it's like,
especially like when. Like people aren't used to like either like comedy rhythms, or like they don't. I say stuff so dry sometimes that people have no idea if I'm kidding or not.
I get that too. I get that.
And I have to like keep in mind to like really smile.
I studied acting
or laugh after it.
It's like, haha. Yeah. I studied acting for such a long time that my favorite thing to do to people is, like, I'll just say something completely earnest to them, like, and it's always ridiculous. It's never like it's not like a real lie or anything like that. But they'll ask me something, and I'll just be like, "Yeah, I brought it back from Vietnam." Like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, I was over there for like 3 months or whatever. That's when I wanted to be a journalist. And they're like, you want to be a journalist? And I go, no, like, I just went on for like, none of this is true. I went on for 5 minutes just to see if you would like, and then people get like annoyed at me. They're like, are you serious now? And I'm like, no, I'm not So I just like tap into that like cold reading, like just being organic with stuff.
Yeah.
And I realize that if you say stuff with enough conviction, people will believe you. Like that's really what it is.
I mean, I'm starting like a little YouTube series basically doing that where I'm going around to different places and giving fake tours.
Oh God, I love that concept.
I just did one at Grand Central. And
do you like stand there with a tour of Grand Central sign and see if people pay you?
Oh, that would be so funny. I should try to do something like that.
You should. It's like, tour starts in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, all right.
There was a group tour like when I was leaving.
This was painted by the Venetians.
I don't know why. Yeah, I just really wanted to get out of there at that point, but I thought it would be so funny to heckle the guy giving the actual tour.
Starting to correct him?
No, didn't happen. And actually, one point in the video, there's a New York Transit Museum in Grand Central.
Yeah,
and I was outside. People were like looking into the windows, and I was just out there with like my camera, and I was like, "Don't pay! They're fucking liars in there."
You're spouting the truth about how the transit it was really.
Yeah.
Everybody knows there's another New York City under New York City.
Yeah. I got to think of like stuff. I thought I was gonna have like a huge like half-hour long video, but I narrowed it down to like 10 minutes. No, I don't think anybody wants to watch a half hour of that.
Well, you get so overzealous with certain things,
Yeah.
and then like we've had to reel back some stuff on here just because we get so fucking excited, and then all of a sudden we're like, we can't do this. Like this is just too much. We have to like reel back and shit.
But I had so much fun doing that.
That's a great concept. I would watch that.
It's basically an improv. It's basically the expert is like an improv game. I took in high school I did a lot of improv just in my
you said
acting
you did
class.
acting in high school too, or you did class,
and my teacher, I think I don't know if he was just doing it like I don't think he was doing it like just for me, but like we'd end up doing improv like most days, and he knew that I was interested in it, so I was so down to do it, and I was obsessed with UCB right out of high school. I took improv.
The show was on
101.
TV at the time too.
Yeah, that was a long time. That was like 2000-ish.
Yeah,
maybe?
that was but that's what sort of brought it to the mainstream a little bit.
Yeah. I'm taking a sketch writing class right now at UCB.
Are you like, because you're a writer and everything, and I wanted to ask you this too, because you and I have talked about like movies and stuff, like as far as like stuff and scripts or whatever that, like you say you're doing sketch. Is sketch what you want to do? Do you want to do like, because I know you do a lot of short films and stuff too.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like exactly where, like how much I want to do of what.
Yeah.
And like what's feasible. Like I want to do so much that it's like a little bit of paralysis.
Yes,
because,
I get the same way. I understand that completely.
So like I'm like trying to create like a good schedule, and I'm just experimenting on like my small YouTube
You're
channel.
always
like
filming stuff. Yeah.
I have I only have 34 subscribe to my channel.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do. We're gonna at the end. We're gonna do all that stuff. Yeah.
But I only have 34 subscribers, and I'm like, I do like want to see that go up because I want just like validation that what I'm doing is good.
Dude, I creamed my pants when we hit 1 million fucking views on a video.
That's awesome.
I was literally sitting there at a bar and I was texting Chris and like everyone else was like partying, having a good time, and I'm staring at my phone just like every time I get a new subscriber, like it went up 5 more. Yeah. And then when it hit 1 million, I almost fucking like fucking just jizzed my pants and cried.
Dude,
because it was like it felt so good.
I would feel the same way. I would feel the same way. And I posted a Martin Short impression on YouTube and TikTok. It did better on TikTok, but it did pretty good on YouTube too. But seeing it cross just 4,000 views, I'm like, that's the most anybody's ever seen of anything I've done. Like, I don't know how to package stuff.
But that's also...
But that's like hitting that level. Like in a few months from now, maybe I'll get one that hits like, way more than that. But like, it's going to be that same feeling as when I hit 4,000 views.
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling. Like, it was just, I mean... Like, it's cool that you're like experiment with a lot of stuff too. I like that aspect of you because like, it's a versatile medium. Like there's so many different ways of comedy, so many different ways of expressing it, and I like that you're kind of like trying new. Would you ever think about doing like a movie or something like that?
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate goal.
That's what I want to do. I wouldn't be able to like write like some sort of. I would like to do a throwback to those '90s comedies, not like '90s, like those late 2000s comedy, the rated R comedy, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be somebody that's going to reinvent comedies in the next 5 years. It might take like another 5 years, I bet.
Yeah, well,
because
Superbad
it's just been
and
so
Pineapple
long.
Express just murdered the scene after those 2 movies came out. It's like, what's really going to be better than this?
Right. Yeah.
I just watched Superbad the other day, and I'm like, God damn, it's a good movie.
Yeah. That's those movies. I mean, there's just like a hole. That's like just like a hole in like in movies or in media is like those classic. And they don't have to be classic. It's going to take somebody reinventing that form for it to really hit again.
I think within the world of movies, I'm going to nerd out about this a little bit. We got like 10 more minutes left. I think in the world of movies, like anytime there's a significant film comes along that changes the landscape or like really sort of reinvents something. Like I always use Scream as the example for the horror genre in like the late 90s because there was no real horror being produced, and then Scream took the slasher movie and sort of reinvented the whole idea of it at the time. And now, obviously that's several years ago, but at the time it was groundbreaking, like to scare somebody with a fucking cell phone. You know, it was really a way of taking the slasher movie and doing something that had never been done before. So I with the comedies, it's finding that thing that's really never been done. It's never obvious is the thing, like it or it never feels obvious. But I agree. I think in a couple of years, it's against that Seth Rogen era, like it was there's really like it's like Pineapple Express, like knocked up. Like I know it kind of started with the Apatow stuff, but then like when you get to like Pineapple Express and Superbad, you're like, I can't think of anything funnier than those two films that came after.
Yeah.
And I watched them every day. I'm like, God damn, this is just killer over and over. Like
21 Jump Street was a big
21 Jump Street was hilarious. Like I did not expect that movie to be as funny as it was.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest surprises. Like the jokes were great in it. The acting was hilarious. Channing Tatum, I will defend his comedic chops because he was absolutely hilarious in that movie.
Yeah. I know we've talked about Linklater before.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's sort of my big like in I was just
that's what I want to make. That's the type of stuff.
That's the slice of life. The day like it's like Dazed and Confused, Suburbia. I think it's called.
Everybody Wants Some.
Everybody Wants Some is like the perfect companion piece. It's the '80s companion piece to Dazed and Confused, and it's a fucking brilliant film because I love that it's the 3 days before, and it's sort of like the origin story of like an actual like college comedy that you would see. Because you see all the characters that you would see in the movie, but you kind of see them in a different way. And there's just, what's his name? It's Wyatt Russell's in that. And he's just the dude that goes from college to college. He's like 30.
He's like 30, yeah.
So yeah, that would be like, that's the ideal. Like if I would really sit down and write and do like, I think the original idea I had at one point was like do like that, but the equivalent to like Long Island, like whatever that means for, showing that aspect of it. Because Linklater's like, was it Boyhood? I'm going to make a movie over 12 years. Yeah. And it's a fucking great film. Like, it's a great movie, dude. I have to do some topical stuff. I promised myself I would do, and you're here so I can ask your opinion on something. What do you think about Katy Perry going into space?
Oh, that's, it's very interesting. I feel like everybody, has hit the nail on the head of like, she thinks she's gone on this huge journey. And she's come back, and her daughter is 90 years old, like an Interstellar or something.
Like an Interstellar, or like in Aliens when Ripley comes back and realizes that she's been in space for 200 years.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's great. You should watch that movie.
I should.
That's just the beginning, and that's not the ending.
Yeah. I mean, who else was in it? Gayle King?
It was like an NBC News. It was Gayle King. I had it right here, but it was basically like an NBC. There was like one actual astronaut on it, or like two women were actual like NASA people, and then it was just like Katy Perry, a pop singer.
Right.
So I'm like, what?
I mean, it's the equivalent of sending them like that monkey into space. Like, remember when the Russians sent like a monkey?
The space chimps, yes.
Yeah, it's like Katy Perry's just a space chimp now.
Yeah,
like she didn't do anything.
yeah.
They just sent her up with a banana, and hopefully she came back alive.
Did you see Wendy's troller?
No,
dude. The Wendy's Twitter page is ruthless to people.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, they commented on it. It's like she goes, it's like NASA or like space or whatever it was. Like had a picture of her or some group, and they were like, Katy Perry's back from space, and then Wendy's just comments, send her back. Like, it's just true. Wendy's is always true. There's like a history of Wendy's trolling people, but I don't know. I was interested because I went down a rabbit hole on this because they were like first all female manned crew. But I also feel like at this point with spaceships, and I'm not taking away from any woman that's like actively trying to go into space, but I feel like nowadays it's the equivalent of those rockets you used to buy when you were a kid.
What?
There's like, remember those rockets that you would get, like those model rockets that would shoot into the air? You just like press a button.
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel it is now because technology has advanced in so many ways. Yeah. It's like going on a roller coaster ride in Disney.
Well, were the actual like the actual astronauts? They were like women too.
Yeah, it was all women. It was all women. Yeah.
Nobody knows their names.
No, I can't. Everybody knows Katy Perry. That's what I'm pointing at. And Gail King was the other. Like the other name that you said immediately was Gail King, who's like an NBC news anchor or some shit.
But like, if they didn't send. Everybody would know those actual astronauts' names probably.
Yeah.
If Katy Perry and Gail King weren't
on the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's marketing at its absolute finest. But I noticed I went down a rabbit hole. I'm like, well, this is not the first woman to go into space. The first woman to go into space was a cosmonaut. Yeah, right here. I actually looked this up. Valentina Tereshkov.
This was the first all-woman space.
Yeah, this was actually, they'd done this back in 1963.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But
that woman went into space.
Was this like the first American crew? Women American crew, maybe? But they were the Russians.
This was in the history of the world, this would have been the first, but not the first American crew. I don't know what the first.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this one was probably the first American crew.
I guess, all female. But this was the first woman to go into space, and it's just funny because she has like...
Still alive at 88.
Yeah, she has a background in like... She like ran a factory when she was like 17.
So I go on ship. So what?
Exactly. But that's definitely a hardened woman right there. Yeah, like, look at that fucking...
She looks like a skunk.
Yeah, like, what was her... Like, I looked this up because I was very curious, and she has, like, a background, and she was in the Air Force. Yeah, there she is. She was in the Air Force as part of the cosmonaut corps.
She looks like Cruella DeVille if she had 99 skunks.
She looks like the mother of Cruella DeVille in the origin story of Cruella DeVille.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but she was an Air Force person and everything, and so that's why I'm like, it's interesting that it just takes nothing to go into space now. Like, to get into space,
it's like comedy. It's like
you're right. It is.
You just put in your bio astronaut, and you're like, you're in.
Yeah, because now it's like, it's just no. I think that's why I'm not amazed by this anymore, because there was a time when, oh my God, the boundaries of space, but it's not like they went into space for 10 minutes and then came back down. On a ship that looked exactly like the joke spaceship from Austin Powers, by the way.
Yeah.
It looked exactly like a giant dick.
The big boy.
Yeah, exactly what it looks like. But it's crazy to me that it just takes no real skill to really go. Obviously,
it takes no skill to sit in strapped
I mean,
in a
they're
chair.
not flying the ship, right?
No.
Maybe they are. Maybe they're doing a little bit.
But it is like the same vibe as like your friend going to like Taiwan for like a month and coming back, where it's like, okay, I haven't been there, and I guess that was kind of cool that you got to go there.
It's all Katy Perry.
I know it's scary, it was probably really scary, and you're back safe, nice, cool, but like she didn't like take a
flag and stick it in on some foreign planet.
Yeah. It was just like she was just a passenger, which is like cool. Like,
would you go if they offered you a spot on the ship? Would you go on the ship?
No,
you wouldn't. You have no desire to go into space.
No,
I don't really either.
No, I think it's I think a lot of people have said this before, of like, once they've been doing it for 30 years and there's less than one accident a year, then I would do it.
Well, here's an interesting fact, because I always think of the Challenger when I see stuff like this, famously the spacecraft that exploded like immediately.
Yeah.
And there was like a teacher on it, but that was supposed to be one of the first real big PR stunts they did, where originally one of the people that was supposed to be on that ship was Big Bird.
Really?
Swear to God, it was originally. And I always think about it, I'm like, could you imagine if they had done that? Because obviously Big Bird's not real.
Yeah.
But at that point, if you watch Big Bird get onto a rocket and then it explodes immediately, like you can't just bring, I mean, maybe you can just bring Big Bird back.
Right. And totally, like, back then they wouldn't have been like, this guy playing Big Bird died.
It would be like, we have to say Big Bird.
Like, like that guy would be so lost. Like, even his family wouldn't know.
They made a documentary about him. His name's like Dana or something like that, or some shit like that. And he's like just this simple man with a mustache that liked being Big Bird and everything. But that guy would have died.
Yeah.
And they would have
nobody would have ever known.
Never known. Could you imagine if the next episode on Sesame Street, Big Bird just shows up and he's just like, luckily, I was able to project. He's like, I couldn't save any of the other astronauts.
Yeah. Also, flying up into space. You ever see the diagram of the guy in the suit? His arm is like this.
Yeah.
You have to fly into space with your arm like
Why?
that. He's like doing the mouth like this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know, and his eyes are down
he's
here.
got here, and he moves one hand.
You know,
and there's
because he has to, because they're not going to show footage of Big Bird like. You know, like with his neck sloped down. It's like he has to
luckily,
fly
if they
like
have
that.
the body, it's like, oh, it just looks like he's lying there instead of some body inside.
Yeah. It's like Big Bird definitely would have looked dead before takeoff.
Yeah, Big Bird would have absolutely just the way. My God, that would have been awful. Because that's like considered one of the biggest like national tragedies. It's on the list.
Also, why Big Bird? They should have had the counts. For the 3, 2. You know, that's why don't they just do that? Nobody would have cared if he died.
Oh man, yeah, they would have just written him off the show. Big Bird's the crux of. They would have had to cancel Sesame Street after that, or introduce Big Bird's brother, Medium Bird, or some shit. All right, Jack, we got to wrap up. It's been fucking really fun. No, dude, I've been wanting to have you on here for a while. This is so much fun. I love it.
The Magic Mind, I think, kicked in, and it's feeling really nice.
It's good.
I
got to get you back on here with the boys, with Will and Donnie
absolutely.
too, as the
those guys.
fourth mic. Yeah, man. I forgot to do this beginning, but I know you have at least one show you want to plug.
Yeah, May 2nd at Governor's in the Giggle Room. A lot of funny people on that one. I'm gonna close it, and then at the end we're gonna read monologue jokes off of cards. I'm gonna call a couple comics back up, and we're gonna like read like jokey jokes.
Really, like street jokes?
At the end, like street joke, but like more like monologue, like Weekend Update type
You're always
jokes.
trying to do different stuff. I
Like,
love it.
Yeah, it's just something because I did this show like a year ago, and all my family came to see me, and I want to do like new stuff.
Yeah, I get
but
it.
I don't have like a half hour of new stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to do like half those types of jokes, and then half like the new jokes I have since they've seen me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bits that I know that you're sick of, but I love it, of yours is the old time surgery.
Oh yeah, I haven't
Mind if
done
I
that in
smoke?
forever.
It's a great bit. Go check out Jack. Give him your Instagram, man.
Oh, Jack Adam Comedy.
On your YouTube
Instagram.
page too. Follow
And
it.
my YouTube, I think it's just Jack Adam on there now.
Is there a link for it in your Instagram?
Yes, look
Okay,
at my
cool.
link tree. I usually have the latest video, and then like the link to my channel is underneath it. But I'm really trying to build that up. I'm trying to do more sketches and like almost like field pieces like that other thing I was saying.
I like
and then,
that. Yeah, that's cool.
And then I think I'm going to try to start the podcast of like reacting to people's short films and stuff.
Follow Jack, watch and look for the stuff the content he's going to put out. He's a very funny guy, and if you can see his face on a poster in the Long Island area, go check him out. He's very funny. Follow me as always on Instagram at thatwinchellkid87. Follow Millennial Stoner on Instagram. Follow Millennial Stoner on Facebook. Follow the Rot Gut YouTube page, which is you can get Millennial Stoner. Who the fuck is Rob White? Clips from the Hamburger Club. Check it out, guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, the Magic Mind thing, just to reiterate that. Like I said, Magic Mind, it's a lot of fun. It just, for Jack, it kicked in and he's having a great time.
Yeah, I feel locked in.
Yeah, so it's Magic Mind. Go to magicmind.com and get 20% off a one-time purchase or 48% off subscription if you use code TMS20. Okay, once again, that's code TMS20. 40% off a one-time purchase or 20% off a one-time purchase or 48% off for a subscription, guys. Jack, thank you for coming down.
Thanks, Joe.
We'll definitely have you back on again.
Appreciate
and take it easy, brother.
You too.
Bye, everyone.